Here's some clean romance that isn't Christian fiction. I have 5 authors to share that just write clean secular fiction. So there's little to no language, there's no spice, and there's no faith content, but I say that they're Christian friendly. So I'm going to recommend them to you. I'll write them all down below, and check them out from your library, Kindle Unlimited, and Amazon. They'll be there. Probably my top author in this space is Cindy Steele. I love her rom-coms. They are so deep and funny, which I love. She writes about really quirky, sweet characters, and all of her characters are quite unique and distinct. I just love that about them. My top recommendation, and probably my favorite clean romance to date, is the one with the kiss cam by Cindy Steele. This book, it's so intentional and meticulous. I feel like she took her time to build the story and the characters. I just felt like nothing was rushed. It was just such a well-paced romance, in my opinion. I truly loved this book. You follow a girl who is on a date and it's not going well, and they're at a basketball game, and you know how some basketball games they do like the kiss cam, and she is actually sitting next to another guy, and the kiss cam goes on to her and that guy, not her date. And the guy's like, we could, and she's like, no. And she keeps having a bad time with the date, and then the kiss cam comes back on her and the non-date guy again. And she's like, you know what? Yes, because this date guy sucks. So sure, let's have a little smooch. So they do, and it's not like lusty at all. It's just so sweet and wholesome. And it kind of sparks a friendship. Like, they're kind of like, oh, you're nice, okay. Wouldn't recommend in real life, but this worked. It so worked. Yes, it's unrealistic, but I loved seeing how these two characters, they're quite different from each other, but they just click in terms of, I guess, their personalities. Like, I just truly loved it. I don't know how else to say it. There's a time jump in this book too, which I think sometimes time jumps can really wreck a story, because it's like we just missed a whole bunch of their relationship. But this time jump worked so well. In a way, this is a second chance romance, and I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. There's no language, only kissing. There's no lust at all. It's truly them connecting as people and emotionally before anything physical, other than that first kiss. Like, after that first kiss, there's like no kissing until the very end. I just loved it. So highly recommend this author. Check out her other books as well, but this is her best. Okay, another author that blew me away with her book last year is Courtney Walsh. A lot of you have probably heard of her. She's quite popular in the like clean romance space. She writes so many different types of books. She's got indie published books on Kindle Unlimited where they're more cutesy rom-com, and then she does still publish with Thomas Nelson. I think it's Thomas Nelson. She just writes like secular clean books, and those are the ones that I like-ish. This is my first like favorite by her. It's Everything's Coming Up Rosy. This book blew me away. Like, I wouldn't say that I've loved every one of her books before this book, but this one, again, it has similar vibes to the one with the kiss cam, where it was so intentional. I didn't feel like it was rushed. It was such a character study on watching this girl grow as a person, but also find love. And the side characters were brilliant in this book. So basically, you follow this girl who wants to be an actress. She's kind of in theater, and her career is failing. She's not doing well, but all of her friends are successful, and she's really embarrassed by all of her failures. And so she doesn't want to tell her friends what's going on. She ends up applying to a whole bunch of different jobs and gets one at an old folks home, like a retirement community. And she doesn't realize that that's what it is, but she goes because she's like, yes, I need this job. And she meets all different kinds of people. She grows as a person. She realizes that her friends love her for her. And I just really loved the message in this book. Plus, it was so cute. I felt like the romance pieces were very unique and something I hadn't seen before, like just their interactions and the different dates they went on. All of it was so well done, and each character was so intentional in the way that it helped push the main character forward. I loved it. So this is a very good romance, and I highly recommend it. So definitely check that one out. It is traditionally published, so you probably can get it from your library easily. Okay, another author with lots of options is Emma St. Clair. She also is quite iconic in the indie published rom-com space, but she just recently published a traditionally published book with Thomas Nelson called If All Else Fails, and this is definitely my favorite book by her. It was a 5-star rom-com level. Like, if you're a rom-com reader, I think this is the top of like how quality it can be, other than the one with the kiss cam. That's still my top. But If All Else Fails, this is the lightheartedness. Like, it definitely had a fully lighthearted feel, and yet she balanced it well with depth and grief and trauma that the characters had to work through. It just, the balance worked. I really liked it, but it's mostly funny. There's so many laugh out loud moments. You follow this girl who's a nurse, and her brother's best friend is a hockey player. He got injured and he needs kind of a live-in nurse, and she says she'll do it because she's getting paid. And there are definitely like some enemies in there where they are misunderstood, they have miscommunication, but not in an annoying way. Like, they just assume that each other doesn't like the other one. And it was dealt with well because they were forced to be together when she's staying with him and trying to care for him. No funny business happens. Like, it's certainly not lustful at all. It's very cutesy like that. It's just very sweet. And there's a dog, there's funny moments. They end up on a sailing boat trying to like sail across some place. And it was just very well done. It was interesting and it kept me engaged. And it was also very funny. So there's no kissing, there's no language, there's only kissing. And I just highly recommend this book as well. Another author that I've loved quite a few of her books is Denise Hunter. She definitely has a spectrum though. She has written in Christian fiction, but lately she's just been publishing clean secular fiction. Her Christian fiction, I actually am not a huge fan of. I don't like the way that she actually writes about Christians. She seems to be better with non-Christians that are just doing things in a like more pure way. So take that what you will. There's a number of standalone romance books that have just been so good and also really good on audio. So if you're an audiobook listener, I highly recommend her audiobooks. One that I recommend right now is A Novel Proposal. If you like authors and writers in books, that's this one. And in general, all of her books, there's gonna be some kind of moment that the characters are either struck with grief or struck with this struggle that they have to work through, and it thrusts the two love interests together, and then they learn about each other through that. Her books are easy, I would say. There's nothing super intense in them, and even the grief that is there, it's not super deep, I would say. Like, they're just easy reads. So if you want something quick and entertaining, no language, only kissing, these books are for you. My favorite one does have a bit more depth. It's The Summer of You and Me. This one, I definitely have seen mixed reviews though, so I don't know if I'd like give it as a top recommendation to you guys, even though it's my favorite. I think A Novel Proposal is probably an easier place to start, but The Summer of You and Me is my only 5-star out of all of her books. So interesting, but I just would say check her out. She's also traditionally published, so you can find her in the library, and I just recommend her. Lastly, this author grew up the ranks. Her name is Amy Clipston. Okay, so Amy Clipston, she is traditionally published, so check her out on the library, in the library. She's written a lot of like historical Amish books, but lately she's been writing contemporary romance, and they're not Christian at all, they just are clean. And there's been some that I've quite enjoyed. Second Chance at Sunshine Inn. This title, her titles are kind of like a mouthful, so it is what it is. But Second Chance at Sunshine Inn, I gave it a solid 4 stars. Like, it was entertaining. I do think I've seen some people say like the miscommunication is annoying. I get it, but I find that she structures the plot and like just the premise of her stories are interesting. And this one really impressed me, but I've read, she has a celebrity romance called Starstruck that I really liked. I think I even gave that 5 stars maybe, or like 4.5. And so check her out. Like, she's an option. There's something for everyone, I think, with the Amish, the celebrity, the just romance. And I just have liked her books, and I'm going to continue to read from her as she publishes just to see what I like. She does have a new one coming out. I think The Lighthouse on the Cove or something about a lighthouse in Cove. That's her newest published one this year, and I do think that I'll read it because why not? I'll give it a try. I will say it's technically a companion sequel to something Coral Cove. And that one I read a long time ago and gave it 2 stars. So we've come a long way. That's what I mean by she's climbed up the ranks, because I used to really not like her books because they were cheesy and boring, but I find her books are not cheesy and boring anymore. So yay, that's great. So recommend her. I'll write all of these authors down below and all of the books. Thank you for watching, you guys. I hope that you found some recommendations in this video. I'm going to continue making videos like this. There's a whole bunch of like just indie rom-coms that I could recommend, so I'll probably do that next. But these ones are traditionally published. You can find them in libraries. You could, you know, buy them from a bookstore, and they're clean, no language, and it's great. So thank you for watching, you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Here are some authors that write clean romance that with... Okay.